Fine, go ahead.
Hello, welcome to Dinner at Mesrick's. We were just having a pre-talk. One of my close friends, Haley, we call her Midge Dragon. She mentioned to me, we have a pretty crazy story. I would like your viewpoint real quick. Before we do the dish, we're doing Tennessee lasagna. I'll explain it later. I'm taking fistfuls of cheese and noodles and meat, and I love it. Tell me how we met, and then I'll give you my perspective, and then we'll talk about this delicious dish, and we'll get you out of here. So talk to me about, what was it, Griff Slayer?
I don't even want to talk about it, that part anyway. We ended up talking on like what I think is probably a semi-defunct website now.
DeviantArt's still up. It's still got furry shit on it.
I would imagine it's around, but it's probably nothing compared to like Instagram, or TikTok or, that kind of thing. But it was a website for sharing art. And I don't even really remember like who messaged first or who talked to each other first or I don't really remember that part. But we started talking on there, and then I think you were the one who wanted to talk on the phone, and this was like pre-cell phone.
Well, pre your cell phone.
What was that?
Pre your cell phone. I had a cell phone.
Pre me having a cell phone, and so literally like talking on a landline for me in the dead of night, because my parents would have killed me to know that I was talking to somebody who I had met on the internet. And then we did that for a long time, like talking back and forth.
Yeah, because we were both, kids, 14, 15 years old, just trying to make a friend, bro.
Yeah. It was like a long time. And we probably were a year into talking, I bet. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably a year into talking when my mom inevitably did find out that I was talking to what was really a stranger on the internet.
Oh my God, I'll give you my perspective after this. Continue. Oh my God.
And hauled me into the state police. I hope she never listens to this. My God, she'd kill me. Hauled me into the state police, and they investigated you essentially. And I was so pissed off because I knew like for certain, and granted I was very naive, but this was pre like AI, pre like most catfishing, I would say. And I had heard like
really the beginning of catfishing. I
had seen like many photos of you. I had heard your mom talking in the background. Like, you had fleshed out social media. At the time it was like MySpace profiles. Yeah, MySpace with like friends that were obviously your age, that were still in like middle school, high school. Like, it was obvious that it was legit. So I went with her to the state police. I was so mad because like we had gotten pretty close, and I wore a shirt. I still remember the shirt. It was like a white thermal shirt, and it said "No regrets" on it in like gold lettering because I was being an asshole. And she was really mad at me for wearing that shirt. She was like, "Are you seriously going to wear that shirt?" And I did. And we went to the police, they investigated you, and then we sat in that office for probably like an hour, and then they begrudgingly had to come out and tell us that like you were in fact a 14-year-old kid, but that it could have not been, and therefore I should be careful. And I was so smug and so annoyed with my mom, but then essentially that was like the end of our conversation for a long time.
About 5 years, 4 years.
Yeah, but then I had remembered your phone number because it was like pre-contact list. So I had memorized it. And so when I was in college, it was my freshman year of college. I reached back out to you to see if like it was still you on a whim. And it was. And we reconnected. So.
Hey, it's your boy.
We've been friends ever since. Yeah.
No, I get a call. I'm sitting on my couch, actually jerking it, funny enough. And I'm just minding my own business. Yeah, tracks. And I get a call from Pennsylvania, and there's like, "Hello, is this Calvin?" I'm like, "What's good?" And it's like, "This is the Pennsylvania State Trooper. Do you have a parent around?" I went, "My mom's at work and my dad's at work." "Okay, well, we need you to get in contact with one of them so they can verify your identity." And I went, "What?" "Well, we have a person here," because when they said Pennsylvania, it didn't click with me. I'm just like, whatever. And then "We have a person here, Haley, and do you know her?" I'm like, "Oh, that's my girl. That's one of my friends. Yeah." Well, probably less eloquent, "Oh, that's my friend. And well, her parents are worried that you're an adult." And I'm like, "I don't sound like an adult." He's like, "You do have a very deep voice, son." So like I had to scramble and get my dad to call the Pennsylvania State Trooper. And my dad went, "Yep, here's the adoption papers, all this shit." They didn't have to send anything. It was just a vote. I could have gotten my other friend to do it if I had been, a creep. But it was just such a surreal experience that I laughed off, and then we never talked again for like, the 4 years or whatever, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I was like grounded for my natural born life, and my mom was watching like the phone bills to see if I was still like in contact. So like there was no way that we could try to talk again.
Yeah, and then you realized fuck the police.
And I just kind of wrote it off. I was like, well, there's that, like whatever.
So from that, we've had a very the last 10 years have been a whirlwind for us. I've loved every moment of it. I'm one of the few people that I can honestly scream at and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, there's been much screaming.
But you've created a beautiful life through all of your trials and tribulations. You have a wonderful husband, and you got this thing that's running around taking shits everywhere. Talk to me about the little one. Talk to me about
toddler.
Talk to me about T, because I want to make fun of you, but you're one of my best friends. I want to make fun of the name, but you're one of my best friends. I can't be coming at you like that. Not that kind of energy. You know what I mean?
It's not a bad name.
Tristan is the whitest name you could ever have named a child.
I don't think so.
What would a whiter name be?
It's not like Jackson. Sorry, or like Aiden. Sorry to those kids too. I feel like I'm gonna dig myself a hole. I should probably stop on the names.
Throwing names out. No, Aiden's a pretty white name. Aiden's a pretty white name.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I think it's a good name. I think it's a good name anyway. It's a very classic name. Tristan was a knight at the Round Table.
Was he?
But it's also, yes, so it's been around for millennia, but it's also, I feel like, a fairly modern sounding name. So I feel like,
it's not like Beauregard.
It's not like naming your child William or something, which is a perfectly fine name, but kind of old, sounds a little old fashioned. So I wanted a name that was spelled the way it sounded, something simple. So, but anyway, he's amazing. He's the greatest thing that has literally ever happened to me. I know that's super cliche.
It's valid.
Yeah, he really is. I think people hear a lot about how terrible parenthood is and how awfully hard your life can be. And I agree, at times it can be difficult, but truly, it has been the easiest thing ever. I wish that, anybody out there who's listening that, wants to have children but is afraid to, for whatever reason, it has been such a joy. Literally has made my life so much better in so many ways.
What is an example of something you've noticed that went from when you were 25 to now?
He is not a burden. He is not a burden. He feels I'm gonna cry. This is silly.
Yes.
He feels like a purpose, which children aren't. I feel like children shouldn't be born with a purpose. They're not there to
make.
I firmly believe that children aren't there to fix something in your life. You're there for them. But if anything, I would say it has brought so much more joy into mundane tasks. The everyday of life is so much more exciting. And it's you get to relive almost your entire childhood, through your child again. Except you get to make it what you want it to be for them. You get to almost like a redo, where you get to experiences the I don't know, the simple joys in life again. It's wild.
Like them eating a spicy pepper and them making a silly face.
Christmas at 25 for me was, you get to hang out and watch TV and, maybe open a couple presents, but probably if you're like me, have to go to work anyway. So it's a whole lot of nothing, you just decorate the tree because you're supposed to. And it's for him, it's so exciting. We get to do all these things.
Did you decorate the tree with him this year?
Decorating and do all of the things again, for fun. It feels like you're doing it again to have fun. And there's a little bit of some magic back in your life again. And that's true for all things, not just Christmas. I don't know. It's just exciting. It's exciting to see him learn things. And today he randomly started counting to 7 out of nowhere. Didn't even know he could do that. He just kept counting. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So.
Well, bro, he's counting his bread, fucking stacking his paper, right?
I guess. I mean, he's not even 2. So
you decorated the tree with him this year and still walked and stuff, or?
We haven't done the tree yet. But we did Christmas lights this year, which we haven't been doing previously, and that was really exciting. And just his reaction at seeing the sparkly lights and stuff. And
that's
then you know, it just makes you happy to like do that kind of stuff. Because I think it's really easy to just be like, who cares, you know? But
no,
it's just fun.
Being a childlike adult because of multiple reasons, finding the joy in the mundane is so beautiful. And being able to share that with a creature or being you've created, that sounds pretty fucking dope. Still terrified of fatherhood. I'm single. I'm doing okay. I'm no kids on the horizon right now. But as I get older, I realize that this may be something that I can do if I've got a good partner and I've got my life steady. You know, I couldn't do it when I was 25. You know what I mean? You remember Shit Show, Calvin.
I couldn't do it at 25 either. I mean, there's lots of reasons why, you know, people decide to or to not have kids, and that's fine. Like, all of them are valid. I just mean, like, I want to change that narrative a little bit, and that kids are like this burden that, like, you know,
fuck up
ruin
everything.
Your life and take away all the fun, and they're just not, you know.
Okay, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna get back to you in a moment, but I've been facing this dish right here.
Food,
so
yes.
When I texted you and asked you if you wanted to be on, you said yeah, and you sent me, I think, one family meatloaf recipe, and then you sent me something called Tennessee lasagna. Every time I've told people about this, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm making Tennessee lasagna. I get this weird like look on their face, or if I'm in Discord with people, they go, what the fuck is that? And I have to explain it to them. So it's hot sausage, you ground beef, you got your vegetables, onions, green peppers. You cook up some mushrooms, you get some tomato sauce, you simmer, and then you layer the macaroni that you've cooked with bricks, little chunks of cheese. So it's pockets of cheese. And then you throw the meat sauce on top. You put more noodles, more cheese, more sauce, and then Parmesan at the top. It is, I'm going to say, a gut bomb. It is greasy. It is flavorful. I put in too much chili powder, and I think it made it perfect. I had my roommate's fiance try it, and she went, oh, there's a little kick at the end, but it's not overwhelming. So even there, I could put in some more spices. I fucking love it. What does this mean to you? Where is it from? What does it mean when you're making it, realistically, I guess?
So historically, it was like my family's like birthday special dinner that everybody requested. So
that's insane, but okay, continue.
In my mind, like growing up, it was this like difficult meal to make, which realistically it's not that hard because it was just something that we only made for special occasions.
Yeah.
I think it was more like we only made it for special occasions because it's really terrible for you.
Oh, it's so bad for you. There's nothing so redeeming about this.
Yeah, it's so bad for you, and there's like no way to not eat like a pound of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So the story goes, because everybody, like every woman in my mom's side of the family has made it. Like my mom made it, who gave the recipe to me, who her mother made it, which gave the recipe to her, my grandma. And so it comes from my great grandma. And I've actually tried searching this up on the internet to see like if I could find it or like find the original source. And I've never been able to find it. Or anything like it. I mean, there's some like goulash recipes online that are kind of similar, but it's just not the same.
Yeah. And
the story goes that my great grandma found it in a magazine, and it was part of like an interview.
What the fuck?
It was part of an interview with this wife of some country music star. I couldn't tell you who. and allegedly it was his favorite meal.
It's Conway Twitty.
I don't know. Clearly somebody out of Tennessee. I don't know, or something. Which, I feel like all country music stars go to Tennessee. But, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say who, but, and it would have had to have been an old one, like an old article. But allegedly, like, she was asked, like, what's this guy's favorite meal? And she said it was Tennessee lasagna, and then listed in the interview, like, how to make it. And my grandma wrote it down, made it, and then it's just kind of, like, passed through my family. And now to you. Which is sacrilegious. Sorry, great grandma, if you're listening, I'm sorry. But I don't really know. I don't really know who it came from, but that's how the story goes.
So it just appeared one day in a weird interview with a country music star's wife.
Correct.
I love it.
In a magazine that my grandma had picked up.
Oh my God.
My great-grandmother had picked up, made it, and then liked it, obviously. Apparently my great-grandpa loved it, and they, have kept it in the family for forever.
It's
now
not
the rest
bad.
of the family, of the family, other than myself and you and my great-grandma, makes it like half seasoning, which is just wrong. You can't do that. Unless you really don't like anything with any spice in your life.
Yeah.
But my grandma and my mom make it with half spice. My great grandma made it with like the full recipe. And you're probably the only person that I know that's making it like with the mushrooms.
Oh yeah, they added that little zing. They cook down pretty well, but it adds just that that little
I'm not a mushroom
subtlety.
gal. I've never liked mushrooms, but my grandma did, and that's how she made it. So.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah. So I don't know. I also don't know like how many revisions she made to it. So who knows? Who knows what the.
With your mom also. Was it still one of those situations where she would make it on a holiday or a special occasion, or was it just kind of, okay, we're having Tennessee lasagna this week or something?
So it was very much so more of like a special occasion thing. You would randomly get it like on a weeknight, but it was not usual. It was more like somebody asked for it for a birthday.
Okay.
And then we would serve it maybe with a salad, but with butter bread.
No, with butter bread?
Yeah, just like sliced, poor man's toast, kind of. Yeah. Not even toast, just like white bread with butter. My mom would like put it on the bread and eat it like a hot dog, kind of like a sandwich. I mean, it's awful for it. It's so bad for you, but it's so good.
This is the most boony Pennsylvania thing you've ever said.
It's true. God, it's so true.
So you're living somewhere else now. Beautiful. What do you? I know what you do for work. Tell everyone what you do for work. Little qualm. I think health is important, but the healthcare system doesn't think that it's important. That's my opinion.
What?
Just in general, I feel like the healthcare system is not putting like health of anyone in consideration. Nurses are overworked. Fucking the people can't get into things. Like when I was talking to Ravin, I'm like, wow, you have a couple months to wait for appointments. And then I realized like that's kind of like America.
Yeah, it's actually exactly like America. Only ours is like 10 times more expensive. So, I mean, I can promise you, I mean, I don't want to like speak on my job, but I am a nurse and it is, but not even like speaking as a nurse, just speaking as like a patient.
Yeah.
It was so difficult to get into like my appointments. My dad's been having trouble back home getting into appointments, like with his primary doctor, with cardiology. Like he's getting older. He's starting to have like heart issues and things. And he's 65. So it's taking him like months to get in with like a cardiologist for scans and things that he needs. And it's just, that's my dog. It's like that everywhere. I honestly think so. Except for us, it's like 10 times more expensive. Not for my dad. My dad has really great health insurance. That's the thing. Like if you're fortunate to have good health insurance, at least the cost won't be bad. But I would say for the vast majority of people, like your health insurance is not good.
Well, we're taking Ubers and Lyfts to the hospital.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. Like I'm a nurse and I have already like avoided going to get healthcare because my insurance is bad, The
irony.
Right. Yeah. You would think like healthcare professionals would have at least like decent health insurance, but no, we don't. We definitely don't.
With your pregnancy, did you go to your hospital or did you go to a different hospital?
I did. Yeah, I did, which is awkward because, you're giving birth with people but yeah, I did.
Why would that be awkward?
I mean...
Or what makes it awkward to you, I guess?
Have you ever had to, take a dump directly in front of some of your closest friends?
Once, and I remember it being a moment of camaraderie, but I can understand how... When a baby's popping out and a little sploosh river comes out, I can understand how that would be.
I guess that's the only thing that I can liken it to. Is you're in a very vulnerable state.
Did you dump?
And it's one of those situations where it's like you are thankful to know people, but you're also like, oh God, I don't want to do this in front of these people.
Did you dump?
Awkwardly enough, yes. And I had a C-section. So, yeah, apparently that's a thing that can happen. And it happened to me because why wouldn't it?
Well, that was a really scary story. You can share it if you'd like. If not, we can breeze past it. But that was scary as fuck. That was one of the scariest things you ever told me.
What, my having a baby?
Yeah, that was tough and terrifying.
I mean, I just have shitty luck, I think. But I don't know. There's no way of getting out of having a baby unscathed. Does that make sense?
Well, it's still doing almost irreparable damage, regardless of where it's coming out. Correct?
Oh, I mean, for sure. I have a ton of numbness. For from having a C-section, which, I mean, we're turning your food podcast into a women's health segment. I love
it. I'm about it. I'm 100%, 15% here. I'm going to take another bite while you explain this. I'm good.
I think, like, that's a big thing that, like, isn't discussed with people is, like, the permanent nerve damage that you have from a C-section. Like, it's very common to have, like, permanent numbness. And so, like, I'm numb from, like, midway down to my belly button, clear to, like, the top of my pelvis. It's like literally the whole bottom half of my stomach is numb and always will be.
It's fucking
like,
terrifying.
Yeah, that doesn't go away.
But you still got the tight cooter.
I guess you could say that. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. It's just like, it's things are different, no matter how you have a baby, things are different. And it was very scary. Having a C-section was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done. And I would do it again.
You would do it. You would do it. Do they just reopen the flap? I'm sorry. I know that's gross. They just reopen the flap?
It is one of those things where it is true. Like, you just are willing to do it again for your kids. Like, women are crazy. I don't know. It's like a biological thing. I never thought I'd get to this point in my life where I would say I would do it again. I think what I mean is I would do it again for this specific child. Does that make sense?
Okay, so like, for just T.
I mean, I would probably do it again for another baby. But it's like, for this baby, 100%. Like, once you know your child, like, I would do it again for you. I would throw myself into traffic for that kid.
Does he fart funny or anything? Like, does he got a tight 5? Like,
he's just amazing. That's all I can say. He's just amazing. But yeah, giving birth, very, very scary. Having a C-section, very, very scary. I got very sick during my delivery and had a big hemorrhage and almost died. So there's that. But we're fine. We're good. Everybody's good now. It was a scary time.
Were you guys looking for a boy or looking for a girl?
I don't think either one of us truly cared.
It wasn't like I need the fucking, the perfect boy to be the football star, or it wasn't I need the perfect diva. You didn't have that
No, I don't think either one of us really cared that much. I know my husband was excited about the idea of having a boy, and I think it's just one of those things where it's like, guys know guys and feel more comfortable with guys, so he was just excited that it was a boy because they can do boy things together, supposedly. Who knows what he'll be into when he gets older. But I think it's just one of those things. Plus, like, my husband is the last boy of his side of the family, or at least the last man of his side of the family, I should say.
Yeah.
So for him, it was more of like partially too, like the whole like family name nonsense thing. Not like totally, but that definitely I think was
a factor
in the back of his mind. Yeah, I think it was like a thing in the back of his mind. But no, I don't think like we really cared either way. It is funny though with that because we've been together a long time. Yeah. You know that, like. My husband and I have been together a very long time. Yeah. How long?
15 years?
Maybe 15, maybe 16. I can't remember.
How old are you?
Not old enough.
Yeah. Because I just turned 32.
I'm 30. I'm going to be 31 in a couple months.
Okay.
So we were very young. I was about to turn 15 when we got together.
Yeah, about 15 years.
Yeah, it was 15, maybe it'll be, I think it'll be 16 this year. I'm not sure. Anyway, whatever. But when we were younger, we just had this like weird knowing, which sounds crazy, and I would smack any teenager that said these things to me now.
You're going to smack your kid for saying that.
That said, like, they knew they were going to be with this person at that age, because it sounds obscene. But like, we always like knew, or at least we were very realistic that like we felt this way, but like didn't think that we would be together really, because that's just not realistic. But we always kind of like felt that way in the back of our minds. And so we were jokingly throwing around names for children. And Tristan came back up like 15 years ago.
Really?
As a name that we liked. So when we found out we were having a boy, we were both like, oh my God, that is like, a sign. Like, that is Tristan. Like, that is him. That's the only name we ever agreed on, ever. And so it kind of just felt like this weird, like, moment where everything in the world had happened the way it was supposed to get to like that moment.
So it was a really relieving thing, even looking back at your, like, you know, when like they do that like flashback of like you standing there pregnant and then you looking at your younger self kind of thing, like in the movies and stuff.
Literally, it kind of felt like that. It felt like, oh my God, like this was all the way that it was supposed to be. Like, it felt like everything in the world had like come to this point in my life, and it was supposed to be that way. I don't know how to describe it, but
I'm gonna bring up one funny thing, a little bit graphic. If I wouldn't take a bite of food for a second, I got a picture from Midge. It's like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, minding my own business, whatever. And I look, and it's this like cute baby sitting in like a baby chair that you put in the car seat, lol. And I'm like, oh, cool, your baby. I'm fucking getting pictures of the baby already. Fucking A, lady, whatever. And that was my bitterness. And then she's like, no, investigate, Calvin. And I looked, and he had just blown out the entire diaper.
Oh, yeah.
It's all the way up the back. It's all the way down. And I'm like,
I remember that
this is beautiful. Oh, this is the joy of fucking parenting. Because I always get on that high horse when I'm like, bro, shit himself, dog. Like,
yeah, I remember that photo because I didn't even notice it until like after, I took the photo. We're still sitting on the porch waiting to go inside. Now, I just thought he looked really cute next to the flowers. You know, I had brought him in. And I took the photo and I was like zooming in to look at the photo. And I was like, oh, he's so cute, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized by looking at the photo and not the child right in front of me that he had like totally shit himself, like bad, like complete blowout. Like, yeah. And that is parenting. That is definitely like new parenthood for sure. But I don't know. It teaches you to go with the flow. I will say that it has made me like a far less anxious person.
Oh, you think that actually curbed your anxiety?
For sure. And I think for some people it makes it worse. I definitely could see how it would make it worse for some people. Like postpartum anxiety is a thing.
Of course.
For me, it felt like having a baby, you just solely have to like give it all up. Like you have to give you start to realize that like nothing is in your control. And so why freak out?
So do you realize less that you ain't shit or more that you need to keep this thing alive so that they can judge and assess that they also aren't shit? You know what I mean?
I think it's like, I guess. I think it's just like you don't have any control over anything. So you got to just kind of roll with life a little bit. Like kids make you just roll with it. Like you threw all the toothpaste in the toilet right before we came on the podcast.
Why did you do that?
Like that really sucks. But like what are you going to do? Like you just got to buy any more toothpaste.
What are you going to beat the kid with the toothpaste? He's not going to learn anything. Like,
oh my God. I guess some people do. It's crazy, but...
What's something you've noticed with Andrew that has changed as far as his demeanor, as far as his like modus operandus? You know what I mean? Since having the kid.
That's hard because he's always been more of like a go with the flow, very chill dude to my like neurotic
craziness. Yes.
Yeah, always. So I guess I would say it has made
chiller. Hello, Midge.
Oh, sorry. My dad was calling and it just like for some reason totally cut out my audio. I was like ignoring the call, but it was cut out the audio.
So what?
Apparently. But I was going to say it has made him like somehow maybe a little more antsy. Like I think as he's gotten older, that has chilled out. They don't seem as breakable when they get older and start breaking your stuff. So like I think it has kind of chilled out a little bit. But I think like when he was first born, he was very nervous. You know, way more nervous than me.
Well, big guy, little baby, right?
Yeah, I think it's very normal. I feel like most dads are more stressed out about that kind of thing.
And then you got the picture of the dad passed out with the baby and on the side of him. Those are always cute.
No, thank you. Can't do that. Scares the shit out of me.
Oh, where they're sitting on the couch and they've just got like the baby wrapped up on their chest.
Nope, that stuff stresses me out.
Really? Everyone else finds it fucking cute.
I guess like from what I do for a living, I don't find it cute because I see like the aftermath of when that goes wrong. I don't want to take this down a sad.
Oh my God!
I don't want to take this down a sad.
Oh my God!
So we don't want to do that. But like for me, not so cute. So that was like always a rule. Like nobody sleeps holding the baby. But you're gonna get like canceled now. All these like co-sleeping moms are gonna come for my throat.
No, like, it's fine. Nobody listens.
So yeah, it's a no for me, dog. But that's all I have to say about that.
That's funny. So how have you like instituted more balance for yourself? Because I know we had a tumultuous 20s, to say the least. What are some systems that you put together, even like not just for kid, just for like being 30, having these systems in your life? What's something you've put forward recently that you think has really affected how your day-to-day goes positively?
That is tough. I think for a while, the balance was totally skewed into raising a child. And it still is some, but they become a lot less need to cling to your every person and your boob.
Mm-hmm.
And so
did you breastfeed?
Have a little. I did.
You
did?
So okay.
I did. So you get to have a little less, like a little more me time. They sleep better and that kind of thing. So like, I feel like for a while, your 20s are me. You're doing crazy stuff. You're figuring out yourself and what it is to be an adult and, you know, thought I had stress in my life before kind of thing, you know, but like, I think like as I went through that period of like intense new motherhood, which is like a whole...
You didn't text me for like 6 months, bro. Like,
yeah, well, I didn't text anybody for like 6 months. I didn't text like anybody. So it's like you go through this period of just like giving yourself over fully to this person, and you do lose like a good part of yourself. There's actually this whole concept to it. It's called like matrescence. It's like a second puberty for women.
Really?
Where you like become a mother. And like your body changes in other ways too, but like literally like going through a second puberty.
So is that when they become MILFs, or is that, I don't...
Correct. Exactly. So I should call it like milftrescence, but
God damn it.
Like you like go through this whole matrescence, I think is what it's called. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. Regardless, you go through this like, it's this whole like phenomenon where you go through all these hormonal shifts. And it's literally like a second puberty. It's like the second change in your life where you become this like whole other person. And I would agree, like, I became a whole other person during that time.
You are so much chiller now, dude. Like,
oh, ridiculously chiller. But I had to go through that period, you know, to, like, get to this point. And then now, like, alternatively, like, to take it back to what you were saying, like, part of, like, balancing my life is finding that balance between Haley as a mom and Haley as a person and outside of being mom. And it's hard to separate those two because I've lived that way now for close to 2 years straight.
Yes.
And so like I'm forcing myself now to find more time for me again.
What have you been doing in that time
so, like,
that you found for
yourself? I'm starting to do like hobbies that I like to do again.
Okay.
So like I'm starting to, you know, read again. I'm starting to, which I started to read a little bit into like when he was still little, but I'm starting to like paint again and draw and like do art, which was something that like I go through cycles with, but like
100%.
Yeah, like, but, you know, I'm starting to do those kinds of things again. And I don't know, like...
What is your current art project that you're working on? I remember that we talked about before we were recording, you had that weird microcosm of Adam Driver, like fandom people that like latched onto you. You've met some of your close friends from it. That's really awesome. But
yeah, it's kind of awkward. So like, if any of them happen to listen to this, I'm not who you think I am, even though I probably am.
Wait, you went full dong with one of them, didn't you?
What's that?
You went full dong with one of your paintings, right?
I did not. I did not yet. I get that request a lot still, actually.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
But, you know, very small following of people because I don't think that the fandom is that large, you know? But I just, you know, I did a lot of fun art during COVID, like during lockdown, like peak lockdown. I was drawing, I was teaching myself how to do paintings and like colored pencil and like really like expanded my art and like got a large group of friends from it, which is now dwindled down. Of course, you know, hyperfixations come and go for a lot of people and we're not in lockdown anymore. So people don't have time for the things that they used to focus on. But like, I don't know, it was a really fun time. I sold a bunch of art. I sold art for charity. It was a blast. Like, I remember I raised $800 just in Adam Driver art. So it's like, you know, you've got to like, I don't know, like, think, like, for me, it's got to be, like, the vast majority of that fandom were people that were buying stuff from me. And it was just, like, it was really nice. It was super heartwarming. It was the first time in my life that, like, anybody had ever told me, like, hey, I like your art in such, like, a concrete way.
That is a lie. I loved your Fall Out Boy art, but...
I don't know if I ever made Fall Out Boy art. Maybe I did. I don't know. It feels like something I should do for old time's sake. But, like...
New Pete Wentz.
Yeah, exactly. But it was such like a cool time period in my life. And so I made like a good chunk of extra money doing that. And it was super fun. And so I've kind of like fell off the face of the earth when I had my son for everyone, including the internet. And so I've started to like slowly make some more art again here and there. But of course, like people aren't around like they used to be. It was COVID. And it's such a niche thing. But it's still super fun to like talk about his movies with people and like, you know, make art every now and then and that kind of thing. So,
are you still just making Adam Driver, or are you like moving off into other? You did an Emma Watson, I remember, correct?
Oh, years ago. Yeah, years ago I did, which it's still in my house somewhere, I'm sure. But no, I mean, I've done other things. Recently, I did a Five Nights at Freddy's little thing.
You did not do a FNAF. Who was it?
I did. It was tons of fun. Yeah. It was Matthew Lillard and it was...
Matty Lil. Yeah.
Yeah. Josh Hutcherson. It was like a nice little painting. It was fun. Didn't like blow up or anything, but it had its moment. And it lives in my sketchbook, and it was just fun to do, just to see if I could. You know what I mean?
Did you see FNAF?
I did, yeah. I bought Peacock solely for that.
Wow, how did you like it?
I actually really liked it, which is like a little embarrassing in some circles, but I suppose like not between us.
Well, here, look at it this way. How I've looked at it is I have no nostalgia for Five Nights at Freddy's because I never played the games. Did I watch Marky Moo do it for hours on end? I did, but there's no nostalgia for me. I don't know any of the lore, even though I've watched the lore videos. So anything that was like not good, book to movie translation, game to movie translation, anything that didn't work for me, I didn't care about. It wasn't bothering me. I didn't care about it.
You watched it too?
Yeah, I watched it with Corey and Ashley.
Exactly. And I feel like that's how I was too, is I was into it as so far as like watching Markiplier play it and watch him like, do his 2020 challenges and those kinds of things. And like, I did watch like the earliest Matt Pat videos, and then I feel like it started to like go off the rails, or like I feel like Scott Cawthon started to like change things solely just to piss off Matt Pat. That's what it felt like to me. Like he fucked up the lore just to be like, you didn't get it right, and just to like screw it up. That's just my opinion. But anyway, so I was in it as far as that, but like I had never read like any of the book.
Nope.
I felt like that was for a much younger audience than me.
Yes.
And so then once like that hype of Five Nights at Freddy's kind of like died out, so did I. Did I watch? I'm the worst. I'm so sorry. Did that cut off down that too?
Yeah.
Great. Love that. So I did watch like Markiplier play the newest one, the Security Breach or whatever. And that was fun. But that was just because like I felt like I needed to watch it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something to watch.
But then like the first scene with Matthew Lillard, I'm like, oh my God, Matty's old. And B, I think Josh Eckerstrom or whatever, I think he did a great performance for the character that we needed. Because there was no character there. It was a dude, Well, I do think like given the original source material, they all did really well, Yes.
There's not a whole lot. Like Matthew Lillard made what was essentially purple pixels into like a person.
Yes.
Like with only like 10 lines, in the whole movie. So there was that. And I also feel like, the lore on this is different now too, but it's kind of like, I think it's going to be like its own thing, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it's worth. I'm not afraid to admit it. It was fun. Am I a little old for it? Probably. But I also feel like that movie was made for people that like grew up with it more than anything. So. Well,
same conversation with Super Mario. Did you watch the Super Mario movie?
I didn't.
Okay. Well, it was literally me and Corey in the theater. And when they did the Rainbow Road skip, I went, ooh, Corey, look, they did the Rainbow Road skip. It was the only time where I was like, I guess that was fun. But it was for nostalgia's sake. The movie sucked.
Did it?
It was terrible. It was short. I fell asleep. I was too high. That's my fault. But
I can't get past this whole Chris Pratt voicing all of these characters lately. And so I think that's what turned me off from it, is I just don't see him as Mario. That's just crazy to me.
And Charlie Day as Luigi. I love Charlie Day. He's not Luigi. I'm sorry.
I felt like Jack Black as Bowser was probably an excellent choice, but Jack Black in anything is probably an excellent choice.
Yep, no
in
question.
My opinion. So, that's mostly why I haven't watched it, is I just feel like Chris Pratt is a weird choice. And now he's like Garfield, I guess.
Fucking what?
Yeah, he's Garfield. Go look up that trailer. But apparently he is Garfield and a new Garfield movie coming out. And that's weird too. He's not Garfield. I'm sorry. I don't watch a whole lot of Marvel movies or anything. Or is the Guardians of the Galaxy even considered a Marvel movie?
That's a Marvel. Yeah, it's part of the Marvel.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm really far behind on all of those.
So am I. Dude, I watched Avengers.
Yeah, me too. That's about it.
The Avengers, that was the Marvel movie I watched.
Yeah, me too. I watched like that one, and I really could tell you nothing about it. I also watched Thor, I think.
I haven't watched any of them because I love movies too. I love schlock. I love anything action. Most of what I talk about on fucking Can I Harass You, or, the beginning of it, I'm like, oh, I watched this movie this week. It was garbage. Nobody likes it. It's one of my favorite movies. Boom. Whatever it may be, that Nicolas Cage is one of my favorite actors. I'm not a good
I know this.
Yeah, I'm not a good fucking like measure of what a film can be or cannot be, but I don't care. When it was announced that it was like, this is gonna be 20 movies, I was like, that's egregious. And now it's like 35, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I do think it gets to a point where it's like, this is such a cash grab. It's time to stop. But I also recommend that, like, I also understand that, like, there are diehard comic book fans, same as there are diehard anything fans.
Yep.
And there's a lot of source material to go from there. Like, you could write movies off of that for forever. And I mean, they have. Like, how many Batman iterations are there out there? A million, it feels like.
Did you see the Joaquin Phoenix Joker?
I did. I did see that.
That's just an AU, I believe.
That I think it is too. That is one of the last movies I probably saw in theaters, honestly. I'm trying to think. It may be one of the last movies I have seen in theaters. And I thought it was excellent.
It was great.
I thought it was really, really good. Yeah, I really liked that iteration of the Joker. I would argue, controversially, that it rivals Heath Ledger. I can't say for sure.
Wow, hot take on Damn today, bro.
I don't know that it's better. I can't say that. I would say that they're fairly equal, maybe. I won't pick a winner. I won't pick a winner, but I do think they're pretty tied.
Equal but separate is what you're kind of
equal but separate, but I think they're two very different characterizations, so it's hard to compare the two.
Okay.
You know? Like, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is not the same at all as Heath Ledger's, like, in characterization. So I feel like it's very hard to compare the two. Maybe if they were both the same kind of personality, I could see that. But I think, like, each performance rivals the other. I think that those two are probably my most two favorite versions. I will say, like, even if I'm not a Marvel person, I think Batman's DC Comics anyway. So we'll go with that. Yeah, I am a big, like, I will watch a Batman movie.
Did you watch the new Batman?
No. I knew you were going to ask that as soon as I said that. No, I haven't.
It's 3 hours long, and it is great. Robbie P did great. Fucking everyone did amazing.
I have a hard time saying Robert Pattinson doing that, but he is a really excellent actor, actually. Twilight was just like a bad beginning, I feel like, for him.
Yes, well, he was, Harry Potter, Cedric.
I was going to say, Batman really wasn't, or I'm sorry. Oh my God. Twilight was not really his start, obviously. Yeah. I feel like Cedric Diggory. And then I'm sure, like, I feel like with all those actors, there's also, like, obscure parts in other movies you didn't even know they were in. So I'm probably, like, making shit up at this point. 100%. I'm sure he was in, like, other things before Harry Potter. But I actually remember the moment I found out that he was going to be Edward Cullen from Twilight, and where I was at a Harry Potter midnight release book party thing at a Barnes and Noble.
You remember those? Jesus.
Yeah. And my friend's mom was there, and she was like, do you know who's going to be Edward Cullen from Twilight? It's going to be Cedric. That's how we compared the two. But yeah, and I remember being like, oh my God, I was, 12, 11?
Oh, maybe 15. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, probably. Yeah, 12 or 11, yeah. Because I was probably 14, 15.
I don't know.
God, that's so funny. But yeah, no, it's good. I would check it out. I would even chunk it if you can chunk it. You know what I mean? Watch like an hour here, hour there. It's really good. It had me gripped. I didn't pick up my phone once. And then, I did. I picked up my phone once halfway through the movie and was disappointed because I missed like a whole important scene because I was on the Instagram. So I put down my phone. I rewatched it. It was worth it.
Who is the villain in this one? Is it the Riddler?
Yeah, it's the Riddler, but it's done. Paul Dano.
I need to Google that.
Yeah, you'd recognize him. He's in a lot of things, but he plays one of the best characters that I've ever fucking seen in a Batman franchise. Holy fucking shit. They opened such a wonderful door with him. That was one of the things that gripped me, the psychopathy of this Riddler portrayal. Forget about it. And I always thought the Riddler is kind of a joke. Jim Carrey. You know what I mean? Like, just a hokey character. But fucking Paul Dano murdered the scene. Fucking killed it.
I do really appreciate these, like, more gritty takes at Batman movies. I like that. I like that the way that's headed. But no, I have not seen it. But I feel like I will. I surely will. And so then it makes me wonder, like, are they going to do more? Like, are they going to do more out of Joaquin Phoenix? Are they going to do more with
Joker 2 is confirmed, and I believe want Batman 2 to happen.
Well, I feel like it'll have to.
Are you watching any schlock on the TV right now? Any crappy reality shows or something with your husband?
I have not been, but I have been scrolling through the TikToks and...
Snorting cocaine, yes, okay.
Yeah, I've been scrolling through the TikToks and I get like so many updates on there from the like sister wives. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the sister wives are insane. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even have to watch the show because I get all the like information off of social media. But like that show is insane. That entire family is imploding. I think he only has one wife now. So it's just wife as opposed to sister wives.
It's just a wife.
It's just monogamy. That's all it is. But that's been entertaining to watch. If you know what I'm talking about, good for Christine, good for Janelle, good for Mary, good for everybody else. Screw you, Robin and Cody.
Shout out to the sister wives. Shout out to the sister wives, bro.
Shout out to the sister wives. Yeah, I'm very invested in that. And I've also keep getting like fed through my feed. They're like, oh, you like this garbage? Maybe you'll like this garbage. All the like original Teen Mom stuff.
Like from TV?
Yes, from like back in the day. So now I'm kind of like, where can I watch that? I kind of want to rewatch that because it's actually really wild to watch it as an adult because that was coming out when we were teenagers, young teens. And I remember like being a young teen and being like, they're mean and this is, you know, awful. And now watching it as an adult, you're like, oh my God, that kid was a shit. That girl was a literal asshole, or that dude was awful, or it's so interesting to like watch it now as an adult.
What's even grosser in the back of my head, because I'm a deviant, I'm like, ugh, I'm having sex, ugh. Because it's like, it's 14-year-olds, dude. It's 14-year-olds where the dude, he doesn't even know how to study for his biology test, bro.
I know,
He's
it's
so
wild.
he can't even take her to her appointments. The mom or the dad, a parent is taking them to the appointments, and it's just...
I know.
And then my favorite thing is when they have the group of friends and the friends are 14 years old that have no say in how a conversation works. And it's the most banal bullshit, but it's so unhinged when one of them goes like, well, you could just kill it or something. And she goes, no, I reckon I'll keep it. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing right now? What conversation is happening?
I don't know if there was ever like any abortion. Oh man, we're like taking this for a turn. Know if there was any like abortion conversations on Teen Mom. I can't remember because I feel like if it's controversial now, it was controversial times like 300 in like 2005, 2006, like whenever that show first aired.
Yeah.
You know, like if you think it's bad now, like back then it was like, there ain't no way in hell we're airing this on TV, you know?
Bro, you're 14, you're having a kid. What are you doing? Yeah. Wait, you got Casey and your other friend. I can't remember her fucking name. But
oh God, yeah.
The other one that, you know, went off, whatever. You've got both of those as your support system. What are you doing, bro?
I know. Could you imagine? No, thank you. I mean, I literally couldn't imagine having to do any of that as a young person.
Do you feel like you were ready at the age you were ready for? I know we're circling back to child, but it's one of the few things we haven't really discussed.
I think so. I think it's one of those things where, like, you are never really ready. And like, even though it was totally planned, totally wanted, there was this moment like after we had found out that we were pregnant where we did get in like a little spat, I think from the stress of like the gravity of what happened.
It's a baby. I mean? It's in there, dog.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, we had this moment where we just had to like get it out and then we were totally fine going forward. I think, you know, you're never truly ready. And so for us, it was like getting to that point where I think you get to this stage in your life where like, you're like, do we change things permanently forever? Are we really ready? Is anybody really ready? Like, and I think you just kind of have to go for it if it's something you want, because I don't think anybody's ever truly ready. Certainly some people are more ready than others. I would argue that we were definitely way more ready than like a 14-year-old on MTV. But I don't know. I don't know if you're ever truly ready. I do remember when I was having him, this moment where my water broke. And at that point, it felt like we were playing pretend at being in labor. And then my water broke. And I was like, oh, this kid's actually coming out of me today.
Jesus Christ.
This is happening. This child has to come out of my body one way or another. And then it felt very real and very, very like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to do this, you know, but you just do. Like, you just have to.
That's powerful.
It is. It's weird. I mean, is it powerful?
It is, because I feel like people don't, well, I just knew is such a sum up, but you having in the moment, the fear is more relevant than your all-knowing, all-seeing mother matronness, shit. I feel like it's important to have that fear because it's ingrained in me as a dude. Fear's all in me. I'm like, oh crap.
Which fear? Which fear? The fear at the moment of having him, or the fear in the beginning?
The beginning of 100%. No, I've taken shits that are smaller than children, of course, but no, I couldn't have a watermelon through my pee hole. It's not going to happen. Urethral fucking, sounding was about as far as I'm going to go with that, dog. So it's one of those things that I just know that I'm not really ready even in my current state. So seeing my friends when they are ready or seeing my friends prepare for it, I'm sitting there like, of course I'm the douche that's like, don't have kids, but
I don't think anybody's ever prepared for it. And, honestly, the having the baby, some people say is the easiest part. For me, it was easily the scariest and hardest part. So,
weird.
Take that for what you will. Like for me, it was easily the scariest and the hardest part. The having him the rest of the time, there was a period of time that we called the time of learning how to be mom and dad. And I almost wish that I could go back to that bubble and tell my former self, you're doing fine and everything is going to be okay. Because in the moment you don't feel like everything's going to be okay. Your body is broken, your house is a mess, everything hurts, You and
your partner are stressed.
Yes, and we took it tenfold. We wrecked both of our vehicles in the span of a week. So we had no cars.
I remember that.
It was brutal. It was freaking brutal. Well, I shouldn't say wrecked both cars. My car broke down on my last shift at work. So I literally pulled into the freaking parking lot and it just stopped working. I coasted into the parking lot because it started to slow down and die. And I was like, great, great.
Dope.
And so then we took it to the shop to be fixed that next morning. We limped it over and it was $1,000 right before having a baby.
Let's go.
So while we were having a baby, my car was in the shop getting fixed, which wasn't a big deal in our minds because where am I going to go? You know what I mean? Where am I going to go? I'm off of work now. I can't drive myself. I'm not allowed to drive. So I'm not taking a kid out in the public, a newborn. So it doesn't matter, my husband was going to be home for 2 weeks. What does it matter? And then he went and the very next day from being home, not even 24 hours, wrecked his truck. And then we were like, oh, fuck.
Was this the new truck? Oh my God.
It was moderately new.
2 years. It was 2 years old, Haley, maybe.
It was a couple years old. Yeah. But yeah, we were like, fuck, now what? Oh my God, it was devastation. But for, all the difficult times that my mom and I had growing up,
that
all
wasn't
the stress
shit.
I put her through, all the stress I put her through with you, all that stuff. I called them that morning at 6:00 and said, Andrew just wrecked his truck. I don't know what to do. And I mean, they were at our house in less than 2 hours. They had to have been flying and stayed with us. And, they let us borrow their one vehicle and, it all worked out in the end, but it was brutal time. And so I wish I could.
And this was baby born a couple hours ago.
This was baby home for less than 24 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. We literally laid on the couch and just cried together. It was awful. It was awful. And so I wish I could go back to that time in my life and be it's fine. Everything is gonna be fine somehow, And even a couple months later when I wrecked my own car, we got the car back from the shop and then I totaled it. And then I was like, wow, I wish I could have just done that from the beginning because then I wouldn't have had to spend $1,000. But yeah, it was a brutal time. And so I wish that I could go back in that time period and tell myself it's all going to be okay. But you can't. But
so is that something we always finish off with me asking to make sure that the person knows that I love them. I love you, Haley. One of my most important friends in my life. We've gone through a lot together.
I know we don't talk as much anymore, but I love you too. It's been a long time, It's been a very, very long time. So I'm glad we had this moment. I feel like it was just me rambling the entire time.
You'd be amazed at how much rambling gets views. It's insane. But even there, what would you offer other than it's going to be okay, it's going to be fine? What would you offer to the youngins, to the oldins, to anyone listening? What can you offer that has helped you continue on in your life via kid, via work, via fucking college, via art that you think will help them?
Oh, God.
Just one concise thing. That
is a big question.
It is.
I want to know your answer, too. Has anybody asked your answer?
Nobody's ever
asked
my
answer. I'll do mine first if you want, but I want to know what yours is too.
Okay.
I think, oh boy, that is so hard.
Well, I'll give you mine. Because it's a very Calvin answer.
Oh, God. Okay.
In my head, you just asked me and it just ticked in my head. What I would offer to almost anyone, and what I do offer to anyone when they ask me about my pod, or when they ask me about my streaming, or when they ask me about even just playing the game to the level that I did at the time when I was playing it, to make this community, is just fucking do it, pussy. You won't. Because everyone gets caught up on all of these hypotheticals, all of these things that could go wrong, but they forget about that one little thing. What if it goes right? What if everything works?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. I think that is a very good Calvinism, if you will. I guess mine would be, oh my God. You've really put me on the spot here. I feel like we're going to go over on time. I think mine would be very similar, but I also feel like something that was really important to me is I never took the time to take care of myself.
Okay.
And so I feel like it is so important to find the way to take care of yourself and pursue whatever it is in your life, even if it is only just for, a couple people on the internet or just yourself or, your friends or whatever. Find that thing that makes you happy and pursue it, but also be sure to take care of yourself, because it is so, so easy to get wrapped up in caring for all kinds of other people in your life, especially women, moms, especially. It's so easy to get wrapped up in taking care of every single person in your life other than yourself. And I neglected my mental well-being for a long time, for a very long time. And I think the biggest gift I could have given myself and my family and my son was getting mentally well and getting on medication and taking care of myself. And it has been absolutely amazing. I think you would agree that I'm a different person.
Oh, so looking into the phone, texting you, it's that joyous youngin' that my platonically fell in love with, that I platonically fell in love with as a child. I loved this girl. She was so free. She said whatever the fuck came to her mind. She was resolute in every belief she had. And you've captured a lot more of that. Now it's of course matured. There's a lot more facets to you. You're not living in Bummore.
I would agree. But I think, taking care of myself and, getting myself mentally well in whatever way that you can do that is fine. It may not be medication. It may be, just pursuing something that makes you happy, reading a book, whatever. But I do think it's important to take time for yourself and get yourself well, because you owe it to yourself, like you really do. And I've never felt better in my entire life. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that crazy journey with me where I was a complete idiot and was struggling so hard all the freaking time. But
I wasn't doing much better. I think it was just a sinking ship mentality. Like both of us got onto, we were Jack and Rose and we both got onto the fucking flotation device and just kind of coasted for a couple of years, dog.
I think so. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's my thing. Don't be afraid to do whatever you need to do for yourself. I think it's hard to live selfishly a little bit. And so I think it's okay to be a little bit selfish, to take care of yourself. That's my thing.
All right. That's Midge, one of my closest friends. Haley, we love her. Do you want anyone to find your art? If so, where can they do that?
I don't. Don't come find me. I work under a pseudonym, so if you put two and two together somehow, that my real name is Haley, no, you didn't. So, if you find me around, you find me around. If not, you don't. And that's okay. I do it for myself.
I think if you look up Adam Driver somewhere on TikTok, you'll probably run into her.
Probably.
You can find me at, socials are going to be in the bio. I'm Mesrick. This was Ben Dinner at Mesrick's. I also run another podcast. Can I harass you for a second? We drop that every Friday, and we drop a new Dinner at Mesrick's every Wednesday between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., depending on how the world works. Please check it out. If you need to get a hold of me, you can find me at They Call Me Mez on Instagram, or you can find me at fucking youtube.com/Mesrick. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's keep this shit going. I love you, Haley. We'll talk a little bit more, but that's about it.
For sure.
All right.
Love you too.
Bye.